Does your narc love you? Despite all his abuse of you, does he actually in some way love you? I'll answer that question in this video. First, we are creating an anti-narc movement, a movement hopefully of God that helps the spouses of narcs escape. I've got a step-by-step program to help you realize you're living with a narc, get rid of your codependency and your trauma bond, get ready to leave, divorce the narc, and then heal in the aftermath of the divorce and build a new, happy, peaceful life. We have every step of the way covered with the book or with the video series. All my program resources are on my website, davideclarkephd.com. That's Clarke with an E. Join our movement by subscribing to my YouTube channel and to all my social media platforms. When we have more people, we have more impact. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, we are everywhere. You cannot escape Dr. David E. Clarke, Dr. Narc. Now back to our question. Does your narc love you? Many of my phone advice clients tell me these words about their narcs. They'll say, Dave, and talking about the narc, after describing all the horrible things he's done to them, Dave, my husband loves me. Why would he marry me if he didn't love me? Why does he stay with me if he doesn't love me, they say. Occasionally, they say, he can be very loving to me with his past and his personal issues. He loves me as much as he can. I hear this a lot in my phone advice sessions. Here's their fear. Dave, I'm afraid I will reject and abandon someone who actually loves me. Does his past give him a license to abuse you? I'll say to them, no. I don't care what happened to him in his past. And frankly, God doesn't care either. There's never an excuse for sin, never an excuse for abuse. I've had many abused codependent wives say to me, Dave, if we get divorced, I just know he'll change and become a wonderful husband to someone else. I reply the same way every time. You're kidding, right? You have a 10 or 15 or 20 or 30-year track record of a man who does not love you, who abuses you. What are the chances, do you think, he'll change and be able to fully love someone else? I'll tell you the chances, zero, dead zero. Now, when he marries someone else, and he will, has to have supply, it'll look like they're happy, but they will not be happy. Oh no, we know the narc is never happy, and it won't last. He married you because of what you could do for him. He saw in you an attractive person who would do whatever it took to meet his needs. He stays with you because you continue to do whatever it takes to make him happy, even though, of course, he's never happy. You allow him total power and control in the relationship. You allow him to say and do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, without consequences. If you are an abuser, you don't leave someone like that. Are you kidding me? Oh, it's a dream. You are an abuser's dream spouse. He knows you're not going anywhere. You'll put up with anything. Often your deeper fear is, you know what? I will end up alone and no one else will ever love me. And the narc will often tell you that. You'll find no one else. You're better off if you don't find anybody else. I hear this fear from many abused spouses. I give them two responses. I say, first, you're better off alone than living with this monster. I guarantee you. Second, who says you'll be alone forever? If you do get divorced from this dirtball, and I hope you do, and I'll help you do it, after you heal, it's very likely God will guide you to a great new husband. I've seen it happen hundreds of times. After you divorce the narc, you are free to remarry. Now, he wouldn't be, biblically, not that it will stop him, but you are absolutely free to remarry. Once you've healed, you'll be good to go. And make sure if you divorce your narc, you get my book. It just dawns on me here. I didn't want a divorce. Now what? This is your healing. It's a foundation of healing for the rest of your life after you divorce the dirtball. Now let's see what the Bible says about the narc's love for you. If in doubt, always go to the Bible. Ephesians 5:25. Does your abuser love you as Christ loved the church, as this verse teaches? Sacrificially, unconditionally, doing whatever it takes to meet your needs? I don't think so. Not even close. 1 Corinthians 13:1-3, the great love chapter in the Bible. Does your abuser love you in these ways? Is he even close on any of these expressions of love? Listen to this list. And then we'll see how your narc does. In 1 Corinthians 13, patient? No. Kind? No. Not envious? No. Not boastful? No. Not proud? Of course not. Not dishonoring of others? No. Not self-seeking? No, obviously no. Not easily angered? Are you kidding me? No. Keeps no record of wrongs. He remembers every one of your mistakes and crams them down your throat forever. Does not delight in evil? No, he loves evil. He is evil. He's in league with Satan. rejoices with the truth, he wouldn't know the truth if it came up and slapped him in his ugly face. Always protects? No. Always trusts? No. Always hopes? No. Always perseveres? No. The narc is a hard no on every 1 Corinthians 13 quality of love. Every single one. 1 Peter 3:7. Does your abuser love you this way? As the verse describes, as Peter talks about, with extreme consideration, with gentleness and sensitivity, with the utmost respect, like handling a work of art of priceless value, with a mindset that you are his precious, priceless partner? No, I don't think so. Here's how the narc treats you on a regular basis. He calls you fat. Again, is this loving? He calls you fat. He calls you ugly. He calls you stupid. He calls you selfish. He mocks you. He controls you. He criticizes you harshly over the dumbest little things. He ignores you. He isolates you. He rages at you. He lies to you. He gives you the silent treatment. He meets none of your needs. Why should he? He forces sex on you. He calls you abusive. He blames you for everything. He turns your own kids against you. And that's not even a complete list, my friends. That isn't love. It's hate. It's abuse. You need to stop fooling yourself. To convince yourself that your abuser loves you, you focus on the tiniest positive words and actions from him. It's called breadcrumbing, a smile, a good time together, a family time with the kids, a romantic date, a compliment, the absence of abuse for a couple of hours or a couple of days. You say, these positive words and actions prove he loved me. I say back to you, no, they don't. You're in denial. These occasional, when he feels like it, expressions of love, fake love, are part of his ongoing performance art. He's like an actor playing a role. He creates the illusion that he loves you. He wants you to believe that. He loves himself and no one else. For one thing, true biblical love is always consistent. It does not falter. It's not perfect, but it's steady. It isn't occasional. It's all the time. For a second thing, his loving actions are only to look good to you and especially to others. For a fourth thing, his loving actions are to get something he wants from you. For a fifth thing, his occasional phony expressions of love do not outweigh all his abuse. Biblically, you are entitled to a never-ending feast of love from your spouse. What the Bible says. Instead, you get excited from the crumbs from the table of your abuser. Your abuser does not love you. He is incapable of loving you. He only loves himself in a dysfunctional, distorted way. He doesn't love God. He doesn't love his children. He doesn't love his family members. He doesn't love his friends. It may look like love at times, but it's not love. It is all based on self-interest. I did a YouTube video some time ago, I think a few weeks ago, about how the narc is not a Christian. You might have to look that up. True blue narcs do not know God through Jesus. An all-encompassing malignant self-love is at the core of his narcissistic heart, and it is a very small heart. You know the Grinch, the story of the Grinch that saved Christmas? Very small heart of the Grinch. His is smaller than the Grinch. The awful truth is your abuser hates you. He loves to torture you and make you suffer. That's what he loves. When you are in pain, his sinful self-love is fed, and that makes him happy. Biblical love is sacrificial, unconditional, focused on meeting the needs of the loved one. It is based on consistent service to the spouse. Whatever you need, that's my job. I'll do it. The power to love the biblical way only comes from a close, growing relationship with God. It doesn't come from anywhere else. And your abuser only has a close, growing relationship with himself. He sacrifices nothing for you. He has all kinds of conditions which you will never meet for his love. He is focused only on meeting his own needs. He serves himself, not you or anyone else. Now you, above all others in his life, pose the greatest threat to his security and his lofty view of himself. You can potentially reveal his weaknesses, his flaws, his mistakes, and his lack of ability to truly love someone else. So he has to keep you down, wounded, and trying to win his love and approval. This keeps him in a superior position and protects him and his love of self. Here's what I want you to do. Dr. Clarke always has something for you to do, action steps. Go to my website, davideclarkephd.com, that's Clarke with an E, and get these two resources. First, 20 Lies to work on your codependency. It's a great place to start the entire process. Your codependency and your denial, we can rip them apart with this 20 Lies book. And it begins a process of weakening your trauma bond. Second, my video series From Codependent to Independent. This series will help you continue to break your trauma bond and heal from the wounds that he's created in you, empower you, and get you strong enough to leave your abuser. From the man that doesn't love you, from the man that hates you.